Hi, I'm Mark Sitt from Crocker Farm Auction. I'm here to discuss an incredible example of New York State stoneware that we'll be selling in our July 22nd auction. This 5-gallon cream jar was made at the short-lived pottery of Thompson Harrington and John Berger in Rochester, New York. Both these potters had worked for Nathan Clark in Rochester and for a brief period owned the pottery from about 1852 to 1854. We know Thompson Harrington, of course, from his iconic star face designs when he went out on his own and had his Lyons, New York pottery. And we know of John Berger having a long-standing pottery on his own in Rochester for quite a while, also involving his son, John Berger Jr. This example typifies the best slip trailing that you'll find from Rochester, New York, and really some of the best slip trailing in American stoneware, period. You can see it's a very artistic design. So while a lot of bird designs focus on a very naive, quick, easy motif that would get the job done, decoratively speaking, and then they move on to the next one, many of these Harrington and Berger pieces, John Berger pieces, and Clark pieces from Rochester show painstaking detail. And they really almost border on fine art as opposed to folk art. They're anatomically correct. They have just an exceptional amount of detail where you can tell that the decorator isn't just trying to make something that looks pretty good that they can sell. He's trying to make something that looks very good, that really impresses upon the owner of this piece. So you can see this is a parrot perched on a sort of a stump type form, a reduced tree, if you will. And in classic Berger fashion, we have the branch extending behind the animal's body, which gives us a certain three-dimensionality to the design. We know that the bird is in front of the branch. And it's eating cherries or some sort of fruit or nut in a tree. You can see all this wonderful breast detail, feather detail to the back, to the wing, to the tail, a little crest on the bird's head. Classic shading throughout. The stump that he's perched on, which is typical of the Rochester style. And then two shrubs at the base, kind of bushes flanking the stump, possibly in the distance, along with various other ground cover below. And the rim is stamped Harrington and Berger Rochester for the firm that I was just talking about. You can see it's got a 5-gallon capacity mark with a period after it. And the leading authority on Berger stoneware, John Sladak, has suggested actually that pieces that have a period after the capacity designation can pretty clearly be linked to John Berger himself, that he likely decorated the piece. And so we can say with reasonable certainty that this piece was actually decorated by the master himself, John Berger. And the quality of this design, coupled with this period, really suggests that. This may represent a pet parrot, or it might actually represent the Carolina parakeet, which was a small parrot that existed throughout much of the eastern half of the United States, all the way into southern New York State, up until the early 20th century. It had become rare by the mid-19th century and was declared extinct in 1939, but they were known to exist in large flocks covering large areas of land, and unfortunately humans led to their extinction. But given the fact that a lot of the bird designs are of local species that the Rochester potteries depicted, whether it's eagles or peacocks, that had become naturalized in America by that point, pheasants, which had become naturalized in America at that point, songbirds, turkeys, roosters. You have a parrot, which today is not a domestic bird. This very well could be a domestic bird. It could actually be one that is now currently extinct. And there is, interestingly, an early Audubon watercolor that I've seen where the parrot is actually clutching a nut in a similar manner. And we've actually found some prints by another natural history scholar of the period that he created some engravings that have a bird in a similar pose with a branch extending behind it. So it's very possible that as John Berger decorated this piece, he had a natural history print next to him, and he was copying it from that, and then it sort of became one of his designs that he would use on a handful of his better pieces. At any rate, a fantastic piece, exceptional color. A lot of times these Berger pieces or Rochester pieces tend to be over salted, but this is very crisp. Exceptional condition with just a small hairline from the rim on reverse. And we're very excited to present this piece to you. One of the nicest bird decorated pieces we've ever had in our July 22nd auction.